అంటే ఇప్పుడు నేను
Hello everyone. Today we are discussing about our project, and the name of our project is vulnerabilities testing. Um the main thing about our project is we are identifying SQL vulnerabilities with SQL map and accessing the database. My team members are going to introduce themselves further, and they are going to start with the presentation. First comes Gautam.
Yeah, thank you, Shetanya. Thank you for forwarding me. Today, let me take the chance to introduce my team, and this is my team. We have our 5 members with Sharanya, Akanksha, Bhargav, Hemant, and myself, Gautam. Let me introduce my topic, and then my team will go into detail of the each topic. So we all know how the security is important today days. Because the data is the most valuable thing, so we need to do the vulnerability testing or the any kind of testing before releasing our project or any tool into the real world or into the production. So testing the vulnerabilities are important elements of protecting the online applications and databases. So SQL injection is one of the major tool are the codes, SQL codes, through which we can find out the vulnerabilities in a website or the coding systems. So for that, we have a tool called SQL Maps, which is a open source and the mostly usable one, which will be useful in finding the vulnerabilities. So for that, yeah, next slide speaks. So main first step is to first we need to find out the IP address, and we need to focus on the website which we are going to access, unauthorized and accessing their databases. So for that we need to install the SQL map and finish with the setup, all the setup. Then we can do our SQL injections. SQL injection is the main part where we flood the system with all the fake codes and accessing the system into as unauthorized way. So SQL map may then be used to scan the vulnerabilities, identify the possible targets, and carry out the SQL injection attacks. Then finally, our SQL injection will be successful and the system got hacked, so that we can access the data in an unauthorized way. So next, my team member will continue. And thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Gautam. I'm going to explain about the tools and the software which we used in our project. That is a virtual machine and SQL map and Metasploitable and Kali Linux. Coming to the virtual machine, to run applications and run programs, a virtual machine uses software as opposed to a physical computer. And on a physical host machine, one or more virtual guest machines are active. Coming to the SQL map, SQL map is an open source SQL injection flaw detection and exploitation software, and it is also called as a SQL map. SQL map automates the process of taking control of database servers. It has a strong detection engine and also data retrieval from databases, access to the underlying file system. And coming to the SQL map, the operating system is command execution or out of band. Coming to the Metasploitable, it is the one of the framework, and it is an open source platform that encourages to discover of vulnerabilities and the development of exploits and the development of unique security tools in cybersecurity. And coming to the Kali Linux, Kali Linux is an open source Linux distribution built on the Debian operating system. Kali Linux is designed for sophisticated penetration testing and security auditing, and it is also by offering a standard tools, configurations, and automations, and it also enables users to concentrate on the task at the band of rather than surrounding activities. And coming to that, Kali Linux information security experts and armatures can use a Kali Linux as a multi-platform solution for free. And next, my friend is going to explain about the working model.
Thank you, Sharanya. Now, coming to the working model. So, what exactly happens is we, as a client, the client will go into any website which is very weak. Okay. With that, we, as the attackers, we attack that particular website, we hack them, and we get the data which is stored in it. I can show you a live example in that. So this is our virtual machine. We have installed Linux and Metasploitable. Metasploitable is a tool or software from which we actually put in commands, and with this we get the IP address. Now this IP address from the Metasploitable, we are going to put it from this, we are going to put some commands and we are going to put it in the Linux software or operating system. And once we put in the commands in the Linux, we will be able to see what is stored in that particular database. So we are attacking the whole system, and whatever is stored in that website, we are going to take the information from them. And for that, we need a few commands, and this is how the URL looks like. And the main thing that we need is the IP address, like how you see 192.168.96. And when the testing is being done in this particular virtual machine, which is the Linux, we will be able to get the testing of all the URLs. So this gets tested. I can show you, for example. Um, So this goes on testing like this, and that's how we will be able to find out what is stored in that particular website. So if there is any URL which is weak, the attackers or the hackers will hack them and get all the information, and that is how hacking is done. So we are still in progress. We have been using SQL map as well, because in Linux we do SQL map, and the SQL is being injected through it. So that's the working model of our project. The next slide will be taken over the next team member.
Thank you. This is Hemant. So most of the online application securities has a flaw where the attacker will insert the malicious SQL code into the database query. This is called SQL injection. And what happens here is the attacker will enter the malicious code. Using that, he can access the web page. So, for example, there are some login pages where, without knowing the user credentials, we can access his account using this SQL injection. So, the next page contains the screenshots of the working model like virtual machine, meta, portable, and Kali Linux. And the next part will be continued.
Hi, this is Manikanta. Coming to preventing SQL attacks, a developer should utilize authentication to validate input based on its type and length. For structured data, use a regular expression to provide strong input validation, and all inputs, not only form inputs, must be validated by the developer. In writing SQL queries, potential code parts must be removed. It is common practice in certain times to disable the visibility of data problems on the production side. And coming to conclusion, we can conclude that like SQL injection attacks are a serious threat to the security of web applications and databases. They can be used to steal data, gain unauthorized access to the systems, and compromise the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of critical information. To prevent SQL injection attacks, it is important to implement a combination of server-side and client-side controls, such as parameterized SQL statements, input validation, prepaid statements, limiting user permissions, and implementing web application firewalls. By implementing these measures, you can help to protect your systems and data against potential SQL injection attacks and other security threats, and ensure that your application and databases remain secure and protected. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this is the overview of our project. And well done, guys.